love to recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So $5 trillion in pandemic relief was approved under two programs that included expanded unemployment and the Paycheck Protection Program. Both of these programs were signed into law by both Republican and Democratic administrations. So, Mr. Dodaro, you've been an employee of the Government Accountability Office for almost 50 years.
Yes.
And you have been Comptroller General for 13 years?
Well, I'm working on that.
And acting 2 years before that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Next month, it'll be 15 years since I've been in the job.
And as the Comptroller General of the United States and head of the U.S. Government Accountability Office, where is your? It's a $5 trillion bureaucracy. Where is your focus primarily as head of that agency?
Yeah, well, we focus on the entire full breadth of the federal government's responsibilities. Everything from IRS to the Defense Department, all the agencies. Now, we work closely with the Inspector General community to make sure that we're coordinating and making efficient use of our resources.
How much time over the past 36 months, on a percentage basis, has been spent on waste, fraud, and abuse under those two programs, Paycheck Protection and expanded unemployment?
We've issued at least 10 reports on those individual areas. We've spent a lot of time on the Paycheck Protection Program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, both at SBA. We've added that to our high-risk list that I mentioned earlier, as well as the unemployment insurance.
So I presume in your 50 years, you have never seen anything of this magnitude as it relates to your office's responsibility to promote the integrity in the expenditures of those dollars.
This has been the largest package in American history, rescue package in American history. I became acting Comptroller General during the global financial crisis, so I was around for the $700 billion to unfreeze the credit markets, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, before that, Hurricane Katrina. This has been the largest one ever.
Okay, the unemployment insurance program. So 2020 was $174 billion. 2021 was $115 billion, and 2022 was $24 billion. How bad was the fraud and abuse relative to the benefit? I mean, can you formulate a cost-benefit analysis in your own head about, a lot of money went out. Certainly fraud is something that neither party is supportive of and is very intent on eliminating to the extent that it's possible. So,
yeah, the way I look at it from an oversight standpoint is that there was great benefit to all these programs, but there could have been even greater benefit had we stopped the improper payment and fraud area, particularly in the loan programs, because there's only a certain amount of money.
yeah.
So that other people were denied the loans. They were denied assistance.
Right.
In the unemployment area, everybody that was legitimately there got paid. Not everybody on a timely basis.
Right.
But so that's the way I look at it.
So, nearly 50 years of service. The greatest way to reduce unemployment expenditures at the federal and state level would be a reduction in the federal unemployment rate, which is today 3.4%, which is the lowest rate since 1969. That's 54 years. It's pretty incredible. But you also spoke at the outset of the infrastructure that exists or does not exist at the state level. It seems as though the federal government needed to do something quickly. We were all in an emergency mode. Not a lot of time to structure a program including the infrastructure that was necessary to administer that program in a efficient way, reducing to the fullest extent possible fraud and abuse. So is it fair to say that the majority of the responsibility for the fraud and abuse is associated with the antiquated systems throughout the various states that we forced to administer this program?
The antiquated systems were certainly a big part of the problem, but as my colleague, Mr. Turner, noted, states had been on notice for years about that program. I know New York State, the controller said, the deputy controller said that they had been on notice since 2010.
Right, but I get that, but
Yeah.
they were on notice to do something about their antiquated systems. This is like, responsibility on steroids. The unemployment rate reached nearly 14%.
No, I understand. The states were overwhelmed. That was for sure. But I think it goes to the incentive question. In normal times, this is state money that's collected from taxes put on employers in that state. And they knew that there was fraud. They knew there were improper payments. So in my opinion, looking back on this from an oversight standpoint, they bear some responsibility for not being better prepared. Now, whether they would have been prepared to deal with the overwhelming issue brought by the pandemic is an open question.
I yield back. Thank you.